Hi, my name is Janae Reese, and I will be educating you on ecotourism. So, according to the International Ecotourism Society, ecotourism is defined as responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains the well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and education. So basically, ecotourism is all about uniting conservation, local communities, and sustainable travel. Here are 5 main principles of ecotourism. The first one is to minimize physical, social, and behavioral and psychological impacts. The focus of ecotourism is all about sustainability and minimizing the huge carbon footprint that tourism often leaves on the environment. The next principle is to educate on environmental and cultural awareness and respect. Most of these efforts are focused on improving awareness, sensitizing people to environmental issues, and encouraging them to be conscious of their impact on the places they visit. The third one is to provide financial benefits for conservation and local people. Any financial revenue generated must be used to fund the conservation of nature and animals, and also should provide jobs and funding for local communities. The fourth principle is to design, construct, and operate low-impact facilities. This can be done by using renewable energy resources, by using locally sourced building materials, and limiting the group sizes of eco-tours. The last principle of ecotourism is to recognize the rights and spiritual beliefs of the indigenous people in the local community and work in partnership with them to create empowerment. Ecotourism initiatives should support local businesses and the rights of indigenous inhabitants to preserve the local culture. And in the image to the right, we have a picture of an ecotourism tour of a panda sanctuary in China. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the history of ecotourism. The concept of ecotourism is a recent popular phenomenon. Ecotourism became mainstream around the 1980s when there was a rise in environmentalism or concern for protecting the environment. In the 80s, there was a large-scale educational efforts made to teach people the benefits of conservation and protecting the planet. Since the 1990s, ecotourism has been growing 20 to 34% each year, and in 2004, ecotourism grew globally 3 times faster than tourism industry as a whole. As of 2006, it is roughly estimated that there are over 5 million ecotourists each year, most of them originating from the United States and Canada. The term ecotourism is the oldest and the original name of this sustainable travel movement, but as of recently, there are similar industry buzzwords like sustainable tourism, green tourism, nature tourism, ethical tourism, etc. All of these words have similar concepts of sustainability of the environment. Now I want to show the vast difference between mass tourism and ecotourism by talking about mass tourism's effects. Mass tourism, as defined by the International Ecotourism Society, is large-scale tourism typically associated with sea, sand, and sun resorts, and characteristics such as transnational ownership, a minimal direct economic benefit to destination communities, seasonality, and package tours. On the positive side of mass tourism, this extreme influx of tourists can help to generate jobs, stimulate the economy, and develop much-needed infrastructure. On the downside, many of these jobs are not given to locals, much of the revenue is kept by outside investors, and the overwhelming tourist crowds often keep locals from being able to enjoy the infrastructure benefits. Also, the local environment is negatively impacted and prone to gentrification and pollution to accommodate tourists and build hotels and resorts. Animals are also typically abused and forcefully harmed by humans for the sake of entertainment, such as elephant rides, selfies with animals, animal hunting tours, dolphin shows, etc. Mass tourism is actually trending right now and has been quite a while at the expense of the environment. For example, if you look at the image at the upper right corner, there's a kid taking a selfie with a cute tiger. It may seem harmless and amusing to an unsuspecting tourist, but that tiger was forcefully sedated for that selfie and is forced to be chained to captivity and away from their natural habitats, all for human entertainment. In comparison to ecotourism, mass tourism is an unsustainable form of travel. And if you look at the pictures shown on the screen, you can notice the vast difference between mass tourism and ecotourism. Now I'm going to be talking about the benefits of ecotourism. Ecotourism helps protect natural habitats and pristine environments. It promotes the sustainable use of resources and supports local economies through employment and the use of local services. Ecotourism supports biodiversity conservation by establishing animal sanctuaries and nature reserves. It increases awareness of tourists of the importance of conservation and increases their understanding of and respect for local cultures. Ecotourism prevents overcrowding with small group activities that lower the impact on the environment. It provides eco-friendly accommodation options like eco-lodges. Eco-lodges are located in natural or rural areas and offer renewable energy resources, recycling services, water conservation methods, and other sustainable practices. They are an alternative to the expensive hotel and resorts that disrupt natural habitats and cause excessive waste and pollution. And in the bottom picture is an example of an eco-lodge built in a forest area. In the top image is an ecotourism benefit. New solar-powered boats, yachts, and even cruise ships are being newly built to provide a more eco-friendly way to tour the sea. In the middle of the picture, we have an example of sea kayaking, and it is another low impact and pollution-free way to explore the sea and is one of the most common ecotourism activities. Although ecotourism has great positive benefits, there are some serious risks of ecotourism as well. Due to the trend of ecotourism, greenwashing, the practice of misleadingly promoting products as environmentally sustainable, is on the rise in the ecotourism industry. Basically, this means that a disturbing amount of ecotourism businesses are marketing themselves as these ecotourist programs when they are not environmentally friendly. And these type of ecotourism businesses could be causing more pollution in the environment, more harm to animals and nature, and or could be exploiting the local people and not giving them enough funds. So this type of ecotourism businesses are no better than the mass tourism industry. Another risk of ecotourism is that the increased presence of humans may, by default, negatively impact animals' natural behaviors and can lead to habituation. Habituation for animals is like animal taming, where they are less responsive to danger from humans and other animals, which can make them easier to be harmed by predators or animal poachers. The feeding of wild animals by humans also poses risks to both their health and mental well-being as they receive inappropriate nutrition and they lose their natural fear of humans. Lastly, ecotourism can help limit pollution in local environments, but it cannot help to address pollution caused by carbon emissions associated with long-haul flight travel. And in the top image shown on the screen, it shows a plane used to transport tourists in Malaysia. Planes emit tons of pollution in the air, and the issue with air travel is out of ecotourism's reach right now. But fortunately, there are new eco-friendly alternative ways to travel being created, such as the solar-powered boats that I showed in the last slide. In the middle picture is an example of a greenwashing ecotourism program. The tour operators encourage the young tourists to harass and aggressively play with a wild sea turtle, which can negatively stress the animal. The last image is showing a young child feeding a monkey, which may seem intriguing for humans, but can be detrimental to the wild animal's behavior in the long run. Although there are some businesses that exploit the ecotourism industry, there are still many organizations that are wonderful examples of effective ecotourism. A great example I want to show is the Elephant Nature Park. Elephant Nature Park is a elephant sanctuary in Thailand. They take in ex-logging elephants and elephants who worked in riding camps who have been liberated and are often suffering from PTSD and or other physical disabilities and can't survive in the wild. Elephant Nature Park also protects animals from poaching in Thailand, which although it is illegal there, it is still happens often. The tourist contact with elephants is very minimal. They allow tourists to watch elephants bathe themselves from afar and take a picture near the elephants as well. And a lot of the time the elephants feed themselves because at the park their food is left out for them, so hand feeding is minimal as well. There are also no chains or whipping and no signs of elephant distress at the park either. And the sanctuary is set in nature, so the elephants are safe but still have the freedom to be wild animals. Lastly, the Elephant Nature Park provides eco-lodges and nature for tourists, and they only sell vegan foods at the park. In conclusion, ecotourism is an effective alternative to mass tourism. It conserves the environment and animals, sustains the well-being of local people, and educates on sustainability. Though it is the best to research ecotourism organizations and programs before traveling there to ensure they have been following all of the ecotourism principles. Ecotourism is not perfect. It does not have zero negative impacts, but since humans have an eager desire to explore the world, ecotourism is the safest way to engage in tourism for the environment currently. So here is all my reputable resources that I use for researching my topic, and I just want to thank you for listening, and I hope you really enjoyed my presentation.